What if, nestled deep within the ancient, mist-shrouded peaks of the American mountains, there existed a lineage so isolated, so fiercely protective of its secrets, that its very existence became a whispered legend? Imagine a family, not just bound by blood, but by centuries of deliberate seclusion, their lives shaped by a legacy of purity that would, in time, become their most profound curse. This is not a mere folk tale, nor a sensationalized account. This is the chilling, untold narrative of the hidden bloodline of the mountains, America's true inbred legacy. Prepare to journey into a forgotten corner of history, where the pursuit of an untainted heritage led to a destiny far darker than any could have imagined. Our story begins not in the bustling ports of the colonial era, nor in the westward expansion of the pioneers, but in the shadowed valleys of the Appalachian Mountains, a landscape as ancient and unyielding as the secrets it holds. In the late 17th century, a small, devout community, driven by a radical interpretation of religious purity and a profound distrust of the burgeoning colonial settlements, sought refuge in these remote highlands. They were a people who believed that the world outside was rapidly succumbing to sin and corruption, and that their only hope for spiritual salvation lay in complete and utter separation. They called themselves the Children of the Covenant, and their mission was to establish a sanctuary, a new Eden, where their faith and their bloodline could remain untainted by the perceived impurities of the outside world. They chose their refuge with meticulous care. The chosen valley was a natural fortress, accessible only through treacherous, winding paths that few outsiders dared to traverse. Towering peaks, cloaked in ancient forests, served as impenetrable walls, while the dense undergrowth and unforgiving terrain acted as a natural deterrent. Here, they carved out a meager existence, their lives dictated by the harsh rhythms of the mountain seasons. They built their homes from the very timber of the land, cultivated small, hardy crops, and relied on the abundant game for sustenance. Every aspect of their lives was communal, every decision guided by the elders, who were seen as direct conduits to divine will. Their isolation was not a hardship, but a sacred duty, a testament to their unwavering commitment to their unique interpretation of faith. As generations passed, the children of the covenant became increasingly insular. The outside world, once a source of fear and disdain, faded into a distant, almost mythical concept. Their language, while rooted in Old English, evolved into a distinct dialect, filled with archaic terms and unique pronunciations, further cementing their separation. Knowledge was passed down orally, from parent to child, focusing on survival, scripture, and the intricate genealogies that define their community. Marriage outside the covenant was strictly forbidden, a transgression punishable by banishment, a fate considered worse than death. This strict adherence to endogamy was not merely a social custom, it was a cornerstone of their belief system, a sacred vow to maintain the purity of their bloodline, ensuring that the gifts passed down from their ancestors remained undiluted. They believed that their unique physical and spiritual characteristics were a direct blessing from their God, a sign of their chosen status, and that intermingling with outsiders would defile this divine inheritance. For nearly 2 centuries, this hidden bloodline thrived in its secluded haven, a living anachronism in a rapidly changing world. While empires rose and fell, wars raged, and technological marvels transformed the landscape beyond their mountains, the children of the covenant remained untouched, their lives a continuous echo of their 17th century founders. Their existence was a testament to their incredible resilience, their unwavering faith, and the sheer power of human will to forge a world entirely on its own terms. Yet, beneath the surface of this seemingly idyllic, pure existence, the relentless, unseen forces of biology were at play, slowly, insidiously, weaving a different kind of legacy, one that would eventually challenge the very foundations of their cherished purity. The genetic consequences of generations of close-kin marriage, though initially subtle, began to manifest in ways that even the most devout elders could not ignore, casting a long, dark shadow over their isolated paradise. The whispers of concern, once dismissed as minor imperfections, grew louder with each passing generation, hinting at a truth far more unsettling than any external threat. This was the true, hidden legacy of the mountains, a secret written not in ancient texts, but in the very DNA of the children of the covenant. As the generations turned, the initial, almost imperceptible signs of genetic constriction began to deepen, etching themselves onto the very faces and forms of the children of the covenant. The physical distinctiveness they had once cherished as a mark of divine favor slowly morphed into something more unsettling. Features became more pronounced, almost caricatured versions of their ancestors. A certain facial asymmetry, a particular set of the eyes, or a unique gait became common across the entire population, binding them together in a visible, undeniable tapestry of shared lineage. Beyond the aesthetic, however, lay the more profound and tragic consequences. Recessive genetic traits, once dormant and harmless in a diverse gene pool, found fertile ground in the tightly woven family tree of the covenant. Conditions that were rare in the outside world became commonplace within their secluded valley. Learning disabilities, ranging from mild difficulties to profound cognitive impairments, became increasingly prevalent, challenging the traditional methods of knowledge transfer and limiting the intellectual growth of the community. Physical ailments, too, became a constant companion. Chronic respiratory issues, skeletal deformities, and a general frailty seemed to settle over the population, making their already arduous lives even more challenging. The lifespan of many was shortened, and the joyous cries of newborns were often quickly followed by the hushed whispers of concern as infants struggled to thrive. Yet, within the confines of their isolated world, these manifestations were rarely attributed to their true cause. The elders, clinging fiercely to their foundational beliefs, interpreted these struggles through the lens of their faith. A child born with a severe physical disability might be seen as a trial from God, a test of their collective devotion. A mind that struggled to grasp complex concepts was sometimes deemed closer to the spirit world, unburdened by worldly intellect. This narrative, while providing a comforting framework for understanding their suffering, simultaneously blinded them to the scientific realities at play. It prevented any introspection into their practices and, crucially, any consideration of seeking external knowledge or assistance that might alleviate their burdens. Their self-sufficiency, once a source of immense pride, became a double-edged sword. They had their own healers, who relied on generations of accumulated herbal knowledge and spiritual remedies,
Subscribe to my
but lacked the
channel.
scientific understanding to address the root causes of their growing health crises. Their educational system, focused on scripture and practical skills, did not equip them to understand the complexities of genetics or the benefits of a broader gene pool. The very purity they sought to preserve was, ironically, slowly eroding their vitality, leaving them increasingly vulnerable and fragile. The mountain walls that had once protected them now served as an inescapable prison, trapping them within a cycle of genetic repetition that threatened their very survival. The whispers of concern, once confined to individual families, began to coalesce into a collective, unspoken dread, a growing awareness that something was fundamentally amiss, even if its true nature remained shrouded in the mists of their isolation and unwavering faith. The veil of secrecy that had shrouded the children of the covenant for centuries was not torn away by a single, dramatic event, but slowly unraveled by the relentless march of the modern world. As the 20th century progressed, the mountains, once an impenetrable barrier, became less formidable. Logging operations pushed deeper into the wilderness. Faint radio signals began to penetrate the valleys, and the occasional low hum of an aircraft overhead became a more frequent, if still mysterious, occurrence. These were the first subtle intrusions, tiny cracks in the fortress of their isolation. The true discovery, however, came not from an expedition, but from an accident. A small plane, caught in an unexpected storm, crashed deep within the uncharted territory of the Covenant's Valley. The search and rescue operation that followed, a massive undertaking involving modern technology and a determined resolve, eventually led a small team of rescuers to the edge of the hidden community. What they found was a scene that defied belief. A group of people whose appearance, language, and way of life seemed to belong to another century entirely. The initial encounter was fraught with fear and misunderstanding, a clash of worlds that had been separated for generations. News of the lost tribe of the Appalachians spread like wildfire, captivating the nation and drawing a flurry of attention from scientists, journalists, and curious onlookers. Anthropologists, linguists, and geneticists descended upon the valley, not as conquerors, but as eager students, desperate to understand this living relic of the past. The children of the Covenant, once fiercely protective of their privacy, found themselves thrust into the harsh glare of public scrutiny. The initial studies confirmed what many had suspected: the profound genetic consequences of centuries of endogamy. The unique physical traits, the prevalent health issues, and the learning challenges were all meticulously documented, revealing a tragic testament to the unintended costs of their pursuit of purity. For the children of the Covenant, this sudden exposure was a cataclysm. Their beliefs, their traditions, and their very understanding of the world were challenged by the overwhelming evidence of a reality far grander and more complex than they had ever imagined. The younger generations, in particular, were torn between the deeply ingrained loyalty to their ancestors' ways and the tantalizing allure of the outside world. Opportunities for education, advanced medical care, and a life free from the genetic burdens of their past were offered, creating a profound schism within the community. Some elders clung to the old ways, seeing the outsiders as a new form of corruption, a threat to their spiritual purity. Others, witnessing the suffering of their children and the undeniable benefits of modern knowledge, began to question the very foundations of their isolation. The aftermath was a slow, painful process of integration, marked by both progress and loss. Many of the younger Covenant members ventured out, adapting to a world that was both bewildering and exhilarating. They learned new skills, embraced modern medicine, and began to forge connections beyond their bloodline. The genetic conditions that had plagued their lineage for generations were finally addressed, leading to improved health and quality of life for many. Yet, the unique dialect, the intricate knowledge of the wilderness, and many of the customs that had defined the children of the Covenant for centuries slowly began to fade, replaced by the homogenizing forces of modern society. The hidden bloodline of the mountains, once a symbol of unwavering purity and isolation, was now a poignant reminder of the delicate balance between preserving heritage and embracing progress, and the often unseen costs of a life lived entirely apart. The valley, once a secret sanctuary, now stands as a testament to their extraordinary journey, a place where the echoes of their centuries of solitude still whisper on the wind, urging us to reflect on the true meaning of connection, community, and the boundless complexities of the human spirit. And so, the story of the hidden bloodline of the mountains, America's true inbred legacy, draws to a close. It is a narrative that transcends mere history, delving into the very essence of human choice, the profound impact of isolation, and the relentless march of progress. It forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about purity, tradition, and the unforeseen consequences of our deepest convictions. The echoes of the children of the Covenant's journey resonate still, a powerful reminder that while the pursuit of an ideal can forge extraordinary resilience, it can also, paradoxically, lead to unforeseen fragility. If this exploration into a forgotten chapter of American history has captivated your imagination, we invite you to share your thoughts in the comments below. What other hidden stories do you believe deserve to be brought into the light? Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more journeys into the untold, the unsettling, and the undeniably human narratives that shape our world.